we were down here yesterday morning, and let me think where we were. We're here where I drew this line, and my short idea was back into the point of control to short. I didn't take the short, and it would have been fine because when I marked it off, it did go back in and then go down. So even though it didn't go sideways, it went up and then down. So that was a viable trade. I didn't take it. Then what happened was that there was a swing failure of these lows, and as the price came back above, it pushed right up through the point of control, effectively ignoring the point of control. And as I did a volume range pull on this local range in the lows, you can see that the price has found support on the value area of this local range. Okay, we've put in quite a bit of volume here at this level here. The point of control is still relatively speaking in the high of this range, but it has held a support. You see that it's holding a support. Now we're above the value area. The value area is holding as support. So we've had a little bit of a rejection from this lower range, and at the moment we're kind of ranging above support. That's what's happening right now. We have this trend line. We've kind of front run the trend line a couple of times here and here, but you can see that this trend line is acting as resistance. So we are in a little bit of a tightening range above this local range value area. It's kind of where we are right now. So let me just get rid of this and this, get rid of some things. Breakout to breakout. That was my fake out to breakout idea. So it's still possible, but I'll get rid of brush strokes so I don't get any kind of bias from my previous analysis. Okay. I'm going to update the overall range to see if there's any changes in volume. Okay. You see the point of control has moved down a little bit. See that? That's what you want to see. You want to see the point of control move down. The value area low is still the same. Value area is down slightly tightened range. And then the point of control is a little bit lower. Okay, that's the overall range. We have this local range down here. And obviously we have this higher range. And we're kind of in between these two ranges at the moment. We're in between this lower range, in between this previous higher range. We're above the overall point of control. And we're holding this value area as support at the moment. The value area high is acting as support, as you can see. All right. We're kind of following this trend line. We are forming a little bit of a some kind of local triangle pattern here. See that? There's something going on locally here. And then obviously I have this higher, this bigger, this larger triangle idea. So it looks like we're within a triangle right now. Good morning, NSLHD. Been some time since here last though. Well, welcome. Happy to have you. Just having a look at Bitcoin. Just trying to observe what's happening and then seeing if I can find any kind of clues as to future price action. Good morning, Zahid Shah. Welcome. Looks like we're within a triangle, within a larger triangle. We're holding above this local value area. We're over the overall range point of control. Yesterday I was slightly biased, bearish biased, and so in my experience, when you're biased bearish and the price goes up, then you're wrong. You have to change your bias quickly. Yeah, it's not good to hold bias and the price goes the other way and for the bias to continue. Yeah. So yesterday morning I was a bit biased to the downside, simply because after we had this nice pump, we lost the value area high, and I didn't like that price action. We'd found resistance of the value area high. I didn't like that price action. And also we had lost the overall point of control. Okay. When you're losing levels, you have to change your bias to bearish. And then when you reclaim levels, you have to re-evaluate your bias. Yeah. So losing levels is a sign of weakness. Reclaiming levels is a sign of strength. And even though we're potentially ranging around these levels, the fact is that you have to go with strength and weakness. Yeah. That being said, it looks like we are now forming some kind of tightening range around the point of control. You see that? So this is the overall point of control. This is the tightening range, and this will culminate sometime this weekend. So you see, eventually we're gonna break out of this triangle, and we have to try and figure out what happens next. Well, we're still above the point of control, so as far as I'm concerned, as long as we're above the point of control, I'm going to remain bullish. And if you see how this triangle is forming, we are on support. You know, we're not under resistance. We're on support. This is support here. This is all support. This is support. These are support lines. Okay. So even though people might be looking at this triangle and feeling a little bit bearish now, just because we're at the top part of the triangle, it looks like the price wants to turn. We're turning into support lines. We're turning into support lines. Okay. I have to save. I have to reload my layout because I've just had a problem. So annoying. I'll try this again. Go back there. Yeah. So I'm not crazy bearish right now, even though the price is pulling back a little bit. The halving is in less than 15 days now. For me, the CCI is behaving in a bullish manner because we've come from the top, we're coming to the bottom, and the price is still here. It's not all the way down. The price is still here. My pen went to orange. What does that? Save that. See how the CCI is going down. It's made a lower low. The price is making a higher low. CCI making a lower low. Excuse me. All right. Looking at the daily time frame. We've got this kind of red hammer. It's got a really nice buying tail, nice wick on the bottom. We've clearly rejected from lower levels. We've closed much higher, but we're still kind of into resistance as well. That's the other thing. You know, this whole top part is resistance. We're kind of pushing into resistance. Now we're having a little bit of a pullback, but we're on support lines. We're on support levels. The price could slow down here. We have the 3-day candle that closed yesterday. And I actually like that candle because we were able to close above 50% of the previous candle body. It went all the way up, closed above the 50% mark, which I like. And now we're just kind of trying to see what happens. Trying to see what happens now. Does it go all the way down to collect liquidity to go up, or does it just find support here to go up? That's a good question. And then when you look at the weekly candle, well, it's really looking a lot better than it was before because the price went all the way down, came into this kind of horizontal level, and now it's back above the weekly level. And that's kind of what you want to see. You want to see a reaction. Bearishness would have been, there would have been no reaction if it was bearish. The fact that we're trading back above the weekly level now is a reaction. You know, the price has been bought up, so the bears are unable to push the price down. That's what you're looking for. You're looking to see how the bears are, how strong they are, and how they are able to move the price. And you have to do the same thing with the bulls, and how they're able to move the price. So yeah, the 12-hour candle was quite nice, but you see there was a reaction from the top as well. You see, that's a reaction. So that's a reaction into the top of that candle. We're above this value area high. We're finding support. If the price holds here, then I think that's going to be quite good for the bulls. If the price drops right back down, that's not going to look bullish, is it? It's going to look quite bearish if the price goes all the way back down. Yeah. What you want is the price hold here. We want the price. What the bulls want is for the price to stay in the highs. We want to attack the highs as bulls. We want to push up, and we don't want the price to go down. And so when you're forming a little bit of a triangle here, you're not going to break the top of the triangle if the price is in the lows. You're only going to break the top of the triangle if the price is in the highs. And you have to attack the highs. You have to keep on attacking the highs until you eventually get a breakout. Yeah. So it's actually not bearish right now. It's not bearish because we are in the highs of this triangle idea. Let me just zoom it in a little bit so we can see what it looks like on the lower time frame. We're above the value area high. We're above the range point of control. We're above the local point of control. We're in the highs, trying to attack this top part of this triangle, trying to. I mean, for all intents and purposes, this is quite bullish. We are making lower highs. That's an observation. Yeah. So if you see these highs on the local time frame, you can see how we're making lower highs. We are making higher lows. See that? And I think what we want to happen to sit for bullishness is to squeeze up. And actually what we really want to do is get back above this previous all-time high. That's going to be really important. And until we do that, no, we're still going to struggle. I see an inverse head and shoulders pattern here forming as well. Don't know if you see that. I'll show you. Although the right shoulder is a bit weak. See that? Yeah. It would be nice if we can go up now and break that pattern, huh? Somehow. Break it, push up, and then hold as support. That would be really bullish if that was to happen. And if you do break out from this triangle to the upside like that, then you're at the very least, you're heading to this level here. And if you have enough follow through, you're heading to the highs. With that kind of breakout, you're definitely going for these highs here. And then you could probably, if you can get there, you could probably squeeze up to the highs there. That would probably be what could happen if we break out to the top side. The key would be to flip this level here, this previous all-time high, into a support zone. That's what you need to do. You need to flip this area into support. And the danger is that you break out and then you just swing failure this pivot here and you just head back down like that. That's the danger. And that would be a failed breakout. It would be a failed breakout, and actually that would be quite bearish. That would be very bearish. Yeah, you have the same idea to the downside, you have the same idea to the upside. Okay, if you fake out, that's really bearish. If you break out, that's bullish. If you fake out, that's bearish. So you don't want to lose this pivot once you clear it. So you can easily draw a swing failure there. I'm going to mark it off as SFP. Okay, you'd only take a short if there was a reaction. That would be a failed breakout into resistance. There is resistance there. You have a swing failure, which would be your entry, but you have this previous all-time high. You have a local value area low, which is the local range. And if I was to do some kind of fib pull from top to bottom, the golden pocket is just underneath it. Not 100% aligned as you would want. It'd be much better if it was better aligned. It's not 100% aligned, which means it may not be as strong as one might hope or expect for a short. So therefore you have to see the reaction. The reaction would be a swing failure like that. Yeah, if you see a swing failure, as soon as the price comes underneath that level, you've got your invalidation, and you'd be hoping to try and trade this back down to the value area high. of this lower range. But if you get back into the triangle after you break out, that's a crazy sign of weakness. That's not very strong. And for all intents purposes, you're probably going to start losing levels and head further down. Okay, it's possible. I don't know how long it will take. Usually shorts are quite fast, so you may get like a big sell-off if that was to happen. If you get a rejection from there back into this triangle, it would be very bearish. Yeah, so you'd actually probably be heading much lower, but you'd have to take profit at the first area of support that you encounter, which is probably going to be this value area high as you come back down. It's not a crazy short because the only thing that you have is this swing failure into this kind of area of interest. We've already tested it once. It's already rejected once here. If it rejects again, you could take that short. But the more times you test these levels, the weaker they become. So you have to bear that in mind. And also you are breaking out of this, potentially, this inverse head and shoulders. And the context is key. You know, we're at the beginning of a bull market. Bitcoin halves in 15 days. People may not sell. They may not sell. They may just buy. So only in a reaction there. But actually, if you break out of this head and shoulders idea, it's like a really ugly right shoulder, but you know, it could work. Are there long potentials here? Well, we're making higher lows, and that's the problem. So you kind of want to continue that idea. We don't want to take the swing failure these lows, because that would change the way this looks. And that would be an entry. If you had a swing failure of a low, that would be an entry. Let me just rename this to short. H. Call that. It's quite hard to long like here. The best long would be to take the liquidity, but yeah, that would be the best long. You are making higher lows though, so you kind of want to keep that pattern. You don't want to lose that. That's quite bullish to make higher lows. It'd be better to long down here. The problem with longing down here is you're back in the range, back underneath this point of control. You know, so you don't really want to lose those levels now that we've reclaimed them. We're finding support. We don't want to get back into the range. That's not good. What we really want to do is put enough of volume here now and then move up. Okay. Yeah, unless you were to long higher up, longing the breakout, like a breakout long. Something like that. Get back above this pivot, flip it into support for a push up. not sure which one, because you don't have high volume nodes either. But if you were to see this, you could long, because you'd have an invalidation and you'd be looking for higher prices. But you also have to be careful, because if you swing failure, you're back into a short. Yeah, so you have to be careful with that. But I mean, I think that would be the easiest way to long, because you're just back testing a pivot that's flipped into support on a breakout of this triangle. It'd be easy to see what's happening, and then you'd be easy to see if there was a rejection. Yeah, if there was a swing failure of that pivot there, then that's a rejection, and you just close your long, and that'll be it. You wouldn't care about that trade anymore. You wouldn't make profit, but you wouldn't make a loss, because you saw a swing failure. You'd be like, okay, the long is not, it's hitting resistance, you'll be out. Yeah, but then the chances are that you squeeze up, and then you could take your profit. You're back into this higher range. That's quite bullish. If that was to happen, this was to happen, that'd be really bullish, because you're just reclaiming this higher range. Now you're back into this higher range. That's really bullish. If we were to get that kind of behavior on a breakout of an inverse head and shoulders of this top of this triangle, breaking out and reclaiming levels, this previous all-time high, back into the higher local range, that's bullish. That's what you want to see for bullish price action. Yeah. So that long would be really good if that happened. Breakout long, something like that. If you saw something like that, you could long that, and you'd have a really easy invalidation. And you just have to be aware that you could get invalidated by a swing failure of the pivot there. Okay, now I am in a long at the moment on Slurf, because I see that Bitcoin is showing a little bit of strength, and I see that Slurf is, for me, Slurf has bottomed out, and so naturally, if Bitcoin goes up, Slurf is going to go up like significantly more. So it's almost like I'm leveraged long on Bitcoin at the moment with quite a small invalidation. So I am long at the moment, but this is, I'll be looking to take this long too. I'm also long in Bitcoin at the moment. Let me have a look at my position. Let me have a look. Position. Oh, I've risked 1%, and I'm basically not made any profit yet. Now it depends, because if this continues and we start, if this continues and I continue to see, if I don't see what I want to see in a reasonable space of time, I will close my trade. I won't just hold on to trades for a long period of time. Yeah, I want to see the price move in my direction and the direction of my interest. Yeah, if I'm longing, I want to see the price go up quite quickly. Yeah, relatively quickly. If I'm shorting, I want to see the price go down relatively quickly. I don't want to be stuck in a trade waiting and hoping for the price to go in my direction. I'm not cool with those trades. I'm not happy about trades where, let's say I'm long now, and after 2 days I'm still not in profit. I'll close that trade. That's not a good trade. If you're short and after 2 days you're still not in profit, or you're just basically teetering at break even, that's not a good trade. Yeah, you want to be in profit quite quickly so that you can take profit, and then so that you can change your position to a break even on the runner. So you've taken your, you want to get that quite fast, quite quickly. So I'm not looking for this price action to hold here for a long period of time. I want to see a breakout. Yeah, I'm biased long. I want to see a breakout. If I don't see a breakout, I'll be closing my long, and I'll be reevaluating. I'll be looking for something like a sign of strength or a sign of weakness. NSLHD long on Bitcoin and all in on Rio and QNT. All right, Rio is setting up very nicely. Rio, have you checked out TRVL? I've checked out Rio. You checked out TRVL. You like real world assets. Have you checked out TRVL? Okay, so Bitcoin is basically holding support at the moment. We're in a little bit of a triangle within a triangle. Now, if we start losing levels, I'm not going to be cool with that. I'm not going to be shorting aggressively because I'm not going to be shorting with into support. We have one support level there, another one there, and another one here. I'm not going to be shorting into support, but I'm going to see that as weakness. If we start losing levels, I'll be seeing that as weakness. And if I start seeing weakness, I'll be shorting the back tests into resistance. Yeah. So if we lose this level now, then we come back up into the value area high, I'll short that. And if we lose that, I'll short that. And then it's probably going down much further. Again, you could get the same situation. You could get a breakdown to swing failure this low just to head right back up. It's very possible. Like Bitcoin can do that. Yeah. So even though you're seeing weakness, you have to be careful when you see swing failures of key pivots. Yeah. If you see a swing failure of a key pivot and you're in a short, then you have to take your profit quickly. Okay. You don't hold on to that because the price could easily reverse and you'll lose your unrealized gains. Even though you're right, you'll end up with a bad trade. Yeah. So that's the caveat when you're taking longs or shorts. If you suddenly see a swing failure off a key pivot level, take your profit and make sure that trade is a free trade. Okay. So, but at the moment, if I'm not seeing weakness, if we start losing levels, I'll be thinking about shorting. Because we're holding support levels, I'm actually slightly biased to long at the moment, and it may not come. And if it doesn't come, we still range here. I'll probably close my long or I'll scale back because I'm not just going to hold a long hoping. I'm going to be looking for a sign, like a sign of strength. I'd probably prefer to take a breakout long in that situation than just hold and hope for the price to go up, because the price could just as easily go down. Okay. Although now I'm biased long because we're above support. Okay. And this isn't bearish consolidation because we've come up and now we're above support. If you were coming down and you're on support, that's bearish. But because we're coming from down to up and we're on support, that's bullish. That's bullish because we're consolidating underneath resistance from a downward, coming from a downward direction to the upward direction. All right. That's kind of my Bitcoin analysis for today. And when I look at other tokens, I'm seeing that a lot of other tokens have come into support areas as well. And so even though TRVL is my token of choice,